Good morning, boys. Now, in the last video, we were doing that practical, if you remember. So far, I have uploaded two videos based on the practical, and so that is the only portion for this year because of the pandemic. So, for the pandemic, for the practical section, there will be only representation of slope. Clear? By that two method, that is by the paper strip method and by the perpendicular method. So kindly maintain your files neatly and keep it ready. The outer covering, make it black. Clear? Outer covering, make it black, and whatever you need to write inside that practical file, I have already informed you in the previous video. So kindly follow that instructions and don't waste your time and complete, because suppose if the government allows the boys to come to school, at least not all, at least 10 boys at a time, you need to come and you need to show me the work which we have already done. Clear? And if there is any confusion, kindly let me know. Now, whatever you are saying on this whiteboard, these are the diagram based questions. It means that these are the diagrams, especially from chapter number 3. Clear? Now from chapter number 3, especially in the ISC question paper, you will find plenty of questions based on diagram. Clear? So remember this because it's very, very important. The first diagram is cross section of Peninsular Plateau. Now if you look at Peninsular Plateau, in the western side of Peninsular Plateau is the Western Ghat, and in the eastern side of the Peninsular Plateau is the Eastern Ghat. Now, the Western Ghat has higher elevation than the Eastern Ghats. Therefore, most of the rivers, they flow from west towards the east and they finally meet Bay of Bengal. But except the two rivers, that is the river Narmada and the river Tapti or the river Tapi. Now, these two rivers, they flow through a fault. They flow through a fault and they mix or they enter the Arabian Sea. So when they enter the Arabian Sea, they do not form any delta. The reason is that they fall from a great height and end and meets the Arabian Sea. But whereas those rivers flowing from west to east, they form delta at the mouth of Bay of Bengal because they flow at a very gentle slope, and those sediments which has been carried by these rivers are finally settled at the mouth of the river, resulting in the formation of deltas. Now this is the cross section of Peninsular Plateau. Now if you look at this sketch, or if you look at this diagram, now if you look at the Western Ghats, then the Western Ghats has much more higher elevation. It is around 750 meters. It means that the height of the Western Ghat is around 750 meters. And if you look at this windward side, of this Western Ghat, it is very, very steep in nature. So as it is very, very steep in nature, when the river Narmada and the river Tapti enters Arabian Sea, it does not form any delta. Now, after you cross the Western Ghat, means when you come towards the leeward side of the Western Ghat, we meet the Deccan Plateau. Now this Deccan Plateau is a flat land. It is a flat land having a gentle slope towards the Eastern Ghat. And after it crosses Eastern Ghat and it enters towards the Bay of Bengal, there is an eastern coastal plain. That means the plain in between the land and in between the Bay of Bengal. Then finally it meets the Bay of Bengal. It means that the rivers like the river Godavari, the rivers like Krishna, Tungabhadra, now these rivers, they flow from the west towards the east, because from the west towards the east, it has a gentle slope, allowing the water to flow from higher elevation towards the lower elevation. Now this cross section of Peninsular Plateau, remember this is very, very important. In the left, you will find the Western Ghats. Western Ghats has much more higher elevation than the Eastern Ghats. Clear? in between the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats lies the Deccan Plateau. After crossing the Eastern Ghats, you will come across our Eastern Coastal Plain. Then after the Eastern Coastal Plain, then it finally meets Bay of Bengal. Whereas on the western side, as soon as the windward side of the Western Ghat, it is much more steep. It is much more steeper. As it is much more steeper, those steeper portions are referred as the Western Coastal Plain. Then finally it meets the Arabian Sea. So thus remember that at least the elevation of the Western Ghats is approximately 750 meters above the mean sea level. Next. Now if you look at this, this is the southern portion of India. Clear? Now these dotted lines or these dotted broken lines, this is the Tropic of Cancer. Now this is the 23.5 degree north latitude. Clear? So if you look at this place is Chotanagpur Plateau. Chotanagpur Plateau lies just above Tropic of Cancer. Clear? Now this, as it lies just above Tropic of Cancer, there is one river which is called as Damodar River. Now this Damodar River, it flows in between the Chotanagpur Plateau. As it flows in between the Chotanagpur Plateau, the river has divided Chotanagpur Plateau into two parts. Therefore, Chotanagpur Plateau is also referred as a dissected plateau. Dissected means to cut. So therefore, Chotanagpur Plateau is also referred as a dissected plateau. And towards the north of River Damodar, it is known as Hazaribagh Plateau. Clear? And towards the south of River Damodar, it is known as the Ranchi Plateau. Now, whenever you get this, suppose if you get any questions based on this sketch, clear? Only the numberings will be there, the rivers will be there, thus the names will not be there. So you need to remember the names as well as you need to remember the places where it exists, because even the Chotanagpur Plateau, it is there in the map pointing, and Chotanagpur Plateau lies in the east of India. Clear, boys? Next. Now, this is the relief feature. Now, this is the relief feature of from Indo-Gangetic Plain towards the Kunlun slope. Clear? Now, whenever we convert this the contours and we represent into a slope, you will find similar like this. Clear? Now, if you look at this A, if you look at this number A, this number A is Indo-Gangetic Plain. Now, if you look at this Indo-Gangetic Plain is a flat level land. It is a flat level land. Clear? With few undulation on the surface of the Indo-Gangetic Plain. So after this, now this is the south and this is the north. Clear? From south, as we are moving towards the north, we come across different relief features. The first one is the Indo-Gangetic Plain, which has a flat land. Clear? And the second is Siwalik Range. The second is the Siwalik Range. The Siwalik Range is this one. Now, Siwalik Range means the lowermost layer or the lowermost range of the Himalayas. Clear? And this Siwalik Range is known as the Duars, or it is also referred as a dunes. Next, the Middle Himalayas. Now, Middle Himalayas is bit higher than the Siwalik Range. Clear? Otherwise, you can say that this is the second layer of the Himalayas, because if you remember that the Himalayas are of 3 parallel ranges of mountains. Clear? It has 3 parallel ranges of mountains. The shortest one is known as the Siwalik. The second one is known as the Middle Himalayas, and the highest one is known as the Inner Himalayas. So Inner Himalayas is the highest one where we can find the Mount Everest. Clear? Whereas Mount Kanchenjunga is found in the Middle Himalayas. Now after crossing the Inner Himalayas, the next is the Ladakh range. Now this E is the Ladakh range. The next is the Brahmaputra Valley, F. This Brahmaputra Valley has been eroded, or this Brahmaputra has been referred as an antecedent drainage pattern because this river existed before the formation of the Himalayas, and after the formation of the Himalayas, this Brahmaputra river keeps on flowing. Therefore, it is also referred as an antecedent drainage pattern. Now, if you look at this, if you look at here, now this portion has been eroded due to the continuous flow of the river. Okay, now after this Brahmaputra Valley, let us move on to the Kailash range. Now this Kailash range is higher than the Brahmaputra Valley. Clear? After the Kailash range comes the Tibetan Plateau, that is H, and J is also the Tibetan Plateau. Now this Tibetan Plateau is the only plateau in the world which has the highest in terms of height in terms of the world, and in between this Tibetan Plateau there lies a Tarim Basin. Now Tarim Basin is similar with a flat land, or you can say that basin is also similar with the floodplains, as this Tarim Basin has been filled up by the sediments brought on by the rivers. Then the next is the Kunlun slopes. Now the Kunlun slopes is towards the northern part. Okay, it is towards the China. And this Kunlun slope, it also has a very steep slopes. Next, now if you look at this sketch, this sketch is based on the 5 rivers. Yeah, it means when it is towards the northern part, it means the 5 rivers, that the main rivers are the river Indus, the river Jhelum, the river Chenab, the river Ravi, the river Beas. Now these rivers which originate and which flow towards the northwestern part of India, it results in the formation of different types of relief feature, and those relief feature is known as Doab. Now Doab means a piece of land found between the 2 rivers. Now this Doab comes into existence because of the continuous deposition of the sediments brought down by the rivers, and when these sediments gets further deposited in between the 2 rivers, it results in the formation of a Doab. Now what is the importance of the Doab is that the Doab is a particular area where the settlement takes place, and as well as the agriculture is practiced depending upon the fertility of the soil and depending upon the size of the depending upon the minute particles of the finest clay or the sediments brought down by the rivers. So if you look at this river Indus, now this river Indus is one of the major rivers. Clear? Now this river Indus is one of the major rivers, and the other rivers such as the river Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and the Satluj, these rivers are just the tributaries. It means it is just the tributaries, but these tributaries, it also results in the formation of a different relief feature. So whenever you get any sketch like this, whenever you get any 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whenever you get any 6, whenever you get a major river with major distributaries or tributaries, just remember that this is based on the river Indus and its tributaries, or the 5 or the places of rivers. So this first river is the river Indus. Remember this, even this one is there in the map pointing. Second one, this is the first is the river Indus. Then second one is the river Jhelum. Third one is the river Chenab. Fourth one is the river Ravi, and the fifth one is the river Beas. Now in between this, there is a doab is there. A doab means sediments which has been deposited by the rivers. And those doab, the first one, the doab between the river Indus and the river Jhelum, that is A, is referred as Sindh Sagar. Clear? Then the second one, the Chenab river. Now if you look at this B, that means this lies between the river Jhelum and the river Chenab. Now this is called as Chaj Doab. Clear? Next, C, Rachna Doab. Now this C lies between river Chenab and the river Ravi. It means the portion or the particular area which lies between river Chenab and river Ravi is referred as a Rachna Doab. Next one is Bari Doab. Now this Bari Doab lies between river Ravi and the river Beas. Now these is called as a Bari Doab. Next is E, which lies beneath the river Beas, that is called as Bist Jalandhar Doab. Clear boys? Remember this is very, very important. If you don't get any question, in the theory portion, you will be getting this on your map pointing. Now next is again the cross section. Of the peninsular India. Now, if you look at this Aravalli ranges, now this Aravalli ranges lies in the west of India, clear? And this Deccan Plateau lies in the south. It lies in the south. Now, in the west there is a Aravalli ranges. Now, Aravalli ranges is in the state of Rajasthan. Now, just when you move towards the east, you find river Chambal. Clear? Now river Chambal has cut deep ravines. Clear? And ravines like gully erosion. Now that gully erosion is a badland. It's also referred as badland where the agriculture cannot be practiced because the fine sediments has been completely eroded by the river Chambal, resulting into a depression, and this is where the river Chambal flows. Then after crossing river Chambal, you will find Malwa Plateau. Malwa Plateau lies in the west of India, whereas the Chotanagpur Plateau lies in the east of India. After the Malwa Plateau, then when you move towards the south, you will the first Himalayan ranges or the first chain of mountains is known as Vindhya range. Now after the Vindhya range, you will come across river Narmada, because river Narmada flows in between Vindhya range and the Satpura range, because this is the Satpura range and this is the Vindhya range. So when these two rivers, between these two ranges, when the river Narmada flows, it flows through a fault. After the Satpura range, then comes the river Tapi or the river Tapti. Now we are moving towards the south. After crossing the river Tapti or Tapi, we come across the Deccan Plateau. Clear? Again, this is the cross section. Now this portion is in the western side. Then from the western side, we move on towards the south. Now this is the cross section from the Aravalli ranges till the Deccan Plateau. Clear? In terms of the direction. But if it was from west to east, then after the Aravalli range, then the Malwa Plateau, instead of Vindhya range, we would have come across the Chotanagpur Plateau. But we are not going towards the south, because the Chotanagpur Plateau, I have already told you that the river Damodar dissects into two. The upper one is called as Hazaribagh Plateau, the southern one is called as a Ranchi Plateau. So that has already been done. So instead of that east we are going towards the south. And these videos and these things, please kindly remember it, because it's very important. If not in that section B, is very important in section A. Clear boys? And the remaining we will do in the next video.